All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. Big announcement today, Friday, March 20th, from Governor Andrew Cuomo. He says that Sunday night, March 22nd, New York is going into what they're referring to as a pause, a stay-at-home type of order, essentially a lockdown, a step towards martial law. And last week, we said to watch out for the date March 22nd in light of the recent coding on the novel coronavirus, also known as the Wuhan coronavirus. But again, if you're new here, we talk about Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. It comes from Kabbalah, ancient Jewish mysticism, which states God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. Again, every single day, you can apply this code to news headlines and see what's truly going on. We've been talking endlessly about the number 56 with coronavirus. Coronavirus equals 56. Toilet paper 56. Mind control 56. Just yesterday, California went into a state of lockdown. The governor said that in 8 weeks, he projects that 56% of the people in the state will have coronavirus. We'll be talking about that number in just a moment with the death of the NBC news staffer. Another story in the headlines today. And again, that guy's name is Larry Edgeworth. Today's the 80th day of the year, NBC News 80. Again, all news by the numbers, but just look at that phrase, NBC news staffer, and the most pure cipher, the exact same as coronavirus. Again, you learn the code, you see through what's being reported, and that's why we said, watch out for March 22nd. Things could happen even sooner, but on 3/22, we could see some major lockdown announcements. And here's New York City, one of the 10 biggest cities in the world, the biggest city in the United States of America. So we'll see who else follows with New York. I suspect by the time Sunday, March 22nd rolls around, it's not just New York that has this type of headline. And again, we were talking about Andrew Cuomo recently. He, on March 10th, ordered the National Guard to deploy to the town of New Rochelle. That was on the anniversary of the release of the film Outbreak, about a viral outbreak where the military has to quarantine a town. New Rochelle equals 51, like outbreak. But take a look at Cuomo's name, Andrew Cuomo, who's got his brother on CNN. Look at his name compared to Gematria. It's the exact same in every cipher. Cuomo and Wuhan, the exact same in every cipher. And again, if you're new here, the 4 base ciphers, the alphabetic order with the rules numerology, the reverse alphabetic order with the rules numerology. What's considered the most pure cipher is the dark blue one, the full reduction, the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. His full name in that cipher is 67, like Wuhan. And we'll see if it turns into a greater order by Sunday night, if there will be military enforcement. If so, it's 107 days after his birthday, Sunday, March 22nd, and military's 107. Of course, March 22nd can also be written 322, like the number of Skull and Bones, one of the most powerful Masonic orders in the world. So, again, we suspected this, and here it is. Don't forget, March 22nd, 2020, it's a date with 65 numerology, pandemic equals 65. As we've been talking about, Event 201, the simulation of a coronavirus outbreak from October 18th of 2019, simulated 65 million people die over the course of 18 months, and the deaths really pick up 6 months into the ordeal. It says it really affects the poor in mega cities of the world. New York is a mega city, so if I was poor in New York, I would be mentally prepared for where this could go just in case it does. Again, 6 psychopaths rule over this world, and preparedness will be key the day the 6 psychopaths decide to really go after us. And we should all be knowing at this day and age that this is how the world operates. I mean, these people tank economies, start wars, kill millions at a time. This is what's gone on all throughout history. We are ruled over by the same people. Again, you read my book, you learn how all the world wars were started and ended by the numbers. This code's much older than the history of this nation, the history of the world wars. With regards to the March 22nd focus, again, the film The Purge It's about a new founding fathers. They take over the nation. They create a new holiday called the Purge. Today where murder is legalized. The murdering becomes legal at 7 p.m. on March 21st. And you can legally murder somebody until 7 a.m. of March 22nd. This has become a hit movie series in the United States in recent years. I've been writing about this movie series on my original blog since December of 2013. The first film came out June 7th, 2013, 6/7. Look at the Gematria Purge in Wuhan. The exact same in 3 out of the 4 base ciphers. And again, March 21st, March 22nd. I told you a month ago to circle the date of March 21st, 2020. That actually happens to be a date used in the film The Purge. Remember, that's the date with the 44 and 64 numerology, the kill numbers. So we'll see what they report tomorrow, Saturday. I suspect there'll be a number of deaths in the headlines, some of which will be related to coronavirus. Every single month it's clockwork on the 44-64 date. A lot of death and killing in the headlines. Fitting that this movie's about killing people, uses this date. That's set in the town of Salina, Ohio. Ohio yesterday, March 19th, had a really interesting headline. This was the headline out of Ohio yesterday from AP. 119 confirmed cases of coronavirus in Ohio, 33 hospitalized. Again, if you know this work, you know those are numbers of masonry. All-Seeing Eye, 119, Masonry, Secrecy Order, Federal, Corona, they're all 33. The third Purge film is called The Purge Election Year. Let me see if I can make that bigger so you can see the slogan under it. You see how it says, Keep America Great? That's Donald Trump's current campaign for his re-election. Keep America Great, 138, like Donald Trump, like federal. If you've seen these films, you learn that there is a federal agenda to target and kill the poor. They send out federal mercenaries to murder the poor on Purge Night. Kind of like how in the simulation from Event 201, it's the poor that get it after 6 months. If you want to go to my old blog, freetofindtruth.blogspot.com, again, a lot of work on the Purge over the years. Things we've been talking about. Signs, warning signs. Movies prepping our minds for what the powers that shouldn't be intend to do to us. All right, so with regards to the death of this NBC news staffer, the news comes from a man named Andrew Lack. In a memo to staff on Friday, NBC News Chairman Andrew Lack confirmed that an NBC employee died as a result of complications from the coronavirus. The employee, Larry Edgeworth, suffered from other health issues that led him to succumb to the illness, Lack said. And this fits in with the narrative of how the majority of people dying are elderly people already suffering from other disease and illness. Again, you're not seeing young, healthy people die from this. It's elderly, it's people that already have health problems, even in the official mainstream stories. So, what stands out about this is, notice right away, Andrew Lack is 38, like pandemic, like death, as we always talk about. 38 in death. The movie poster Murder by Numbers, the E's changed to the 3, the B's changed to the 8, no other letters are tampered with. Murder's 38 and 83. The song Murder by Numbers came out in 83 about killing being the sport of the elite, it being as simple as ABC 1, 2, 3. Again, killing, death, R.I.P., Gematria, English, Kabbalah, Jew, they're all 38. There's another song out there called Gematria, the Killing Name. That song was put out by the band Slipknot. The first member of that band to die died at age 38. These numbers always in the headlines around suspicious deaths and murders. Case in point, breaking news right before I started. Remains tentatively identified as missing Colorado boy Gannon Stouch are found in Florida. Remember, Colorado's the 38th state. You get so many death and murder stories out of Colorado and Florida more than any other state. And notice, Colorado, the 38th state, equals 38, like Florida's 38. They say that he was found in El Paso County, Florida. That kind of reminds of El Paso, Texas, right? Which is another 38. Remember, they had the shooting on August 3rd or 3/8 or 8/3 this year. Again, you guys, the news is all riddles. If you look up the stories with the pictures of this little boy, I mean, the pictures, They don't even look as good as this. Again, this person does not exist.com. Every time you reload, you get a picture of somebody, child, adult, man, woman. And the thing that all these pictures have in common is they are computer generated. None of these people exist. That's why the website's called thispersondoesnotexist.com. These are all computer generated images. This is the day and age we live in. And you look at a story like, this, and you think, man, that's sad, but you got to wonder, is the story even real? Here's the image they give you of the boy. What's wrong with that image? In the age of HD cameras, that's what my childhood pictures look like. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. This looks like me in 1993, 94. Wait, I turned 11 in 94. July 21st, 94, I would have been 11 years old, so. Anyway, you just got to wonder, but I'm just making the point. The same numbers all the time, all the time, all the time. So that man delivers the death. Again, this guy who's dead, he's dead March 20th, the 80th day of the year. His name in the most pure cipher is 80. He works for NBC News with the alphabetic order 80. They refer to him as an NBC News staffer, which equals 155 and 56, like coronavirus. This headline breaks at the same time as this headline. New York, like California, tells non-essential workers to stay home as U.S. coronavirus cases jump past 15,500. 155. I just had to check the market all of a sudden because I just remember that stock markets is 155, so the market's down. Well, it closed there for the day, down 913 points. Suppose it could have been worse with some of the biggest markets shutting down, but that could happen Monday. Could get real nasty Monday depending on what they do March 22nd. So again, we're approaching March 22nd. NBC News staffer, when you run the alphabetic order forwards, it's 155.56. When you run it in reverse, it's 223.79, like novel coronavirus. Isn't that interesting? Again, that's why you got to know the ciphers forwards and backwards. It's coming just before March 22nd. When you run his name in reverse, it's 199 and 73. Remember, 199 is the 46th prime. Sacrifice is 73 and 46. So his name is like sacrifice. With regards to 199, the 46th prime, virus is also 46. The article mentions he's survived by his wife, Crystal, another 46. Just makes me wonder, does this person even exist? And if he does and somebody out there is watching, they know him, again, I apologize, but people need to wake up to what's going on in these agendas. If somebody's out there and they know this is a real man and they knew him, should really look into his death. Did he really die today from coronavirus? Was he already suffering in a hospital? Did somebody finish him off for another murder by numbers? Again, you got to look up the lyrics to that song. Murder by numbers. Sick song. Killings as simple as A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. Sport of the elite. Talks about how once you get a taste for it, you just want to do it more and more. Like the words of the psychopaths who rule over us. Okay, so last night we did another live stream. Again, you guys, we're putting out a ton of content. If you're missing these live streams, I know I put out a lot of work and most people don't have the time to watch them, but if you can't make the time, this information is worth knowing. And you don't always have to watch the whole video. I do take calls. A lot of time the calls end up being a lot of the portion of the show. I'll always do the presentation and the calls come later. If you don't want to listen to the calls, you can skip that part, but a lot of times the callers are great too. But again, just all this stuff that we're covering, it's all news by the numbers, the coronavirus cases, everything else everyone needs to know. So if you don't know how to navigate a YouTube channel, if you click on their channel, this page will come up. If you click videos, you'll be able to see all their videos. And realize a lot of mine you're not getting notifications for. You're being censored. Or I'm being censored, I should say. A lot of people probably aren't getting any notification for this live stream. It seems that the censorship is getting worse by the day. So, and remember, Event 201, which simulated all this, part of the simulation was also blocking out people like me on the internet because we're considered misinformation to the authorities. We're misinforming them about their agenda. Okay, now coming back to Madonna's Madam X album feature. Coming back to Madonna's Madam X album, which features a Corona typewriter like the one Tom Hanks just used in his Instagram tweet. Let's just take a look at this, because there was also a recent story written about Madonna writing fan letters on a Corona typewriter, and they say ironically, because she's doing it while her concerts are canceled due to the coronavirus outbreak, or coronavirus concerns as they put it. This headline is from March 9th, 2020, a date that can be written 9/3 as it is in the majority of the world. Remember that, 9/3. We'll get to it in a moment. The article uses this picture of her with the one eye symbolism with the X eye patch. By the way, just using the alphabetic order, Madonna is 61 years old right now, so this album out while she's 61, you know, it's perfect, right? Perfect album for her to be out touring on at age 61. It's also got that 38 in it, like Pandemic. Again, she's become part of this pandemic narrative. But look at this. She released the album that she's out touring for on the U.S. flag's birthday. Also Donald Trump's birthday, her favorite person, June 14th, 2019. From the day she released the album to the date that the first case of coronavirus was found in the U.S., 222 days. Also 7 months and 8 days. Remember, Wuhan coronavirus is 222 and 78, as well as 93, using our 3 or 4 base ciphers. And again, Wuhan coronavirus is 93, also like coronavirus concerns, which is what they wrote in the headline. Madonna cancels Madame X shows due to coronavirus concerns. And the shows she canceled were for March 10th and March 11th. Remember, March 11th is the day Tom Hanks was diagnosed with coronavirus, and then he put out the Instagram post with the Corona typewriter, just like Madonna has on her album. Big singer, big actor, big names, big celebrities. Tom Hanks in big news, big agenda. This is the parallel. Again, it's a world of people who worship celebrity, who listen to celebrity, who take celebrity seriously, and people like myself not. This is the world we live in. In case you missed last night's video, just to remind something real quick about Event 201, since Tom Hanks referenced losing by 201 points in gin rummy to his wife in the Instagram post with the Corona typewriter. Again, Event 201 was hosted by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Johns Hopkins University, and the World Economic Forum out of Switzerland. Notice World Economic Forum has the same gematria as Wuhan coronavirus, 22293. Event 201 went on in New York, 222 and 78, like Wuhan coronavirus. Again, like how Madonna just, her album, 222 days or 7 months and 8 days from that first case. What are the odds? The Corona typewriter. Order out of chaos is also 22278, and the Masonic motto, as above, so below. They're both Masonic mottos. Order out of chaos. Virus has gematria like chaos in 3 of the 4 ciphers. So again, being a little bit redundant, but we're talking about a lot of influence out of Switzerland. World Banks, World Health Organization, Knights Templar, riddles and numbers, masonry. Coming back to this, the Madonna thing. They mentioned here that she canceled her performances that were scheduled for March 10th and March 11th. And consider March 11th. Actually, you know what? Consider both those dates. Let me just write it out so you can see it. Those dates can be written 10/3 and 11/3. Scottish is 103 and 113. And remember, the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry came to power in France, where she canceled the events. Think about that. And they mention her age is 61. This part right here. The Madame X songstress who had to cancel the end of her tour due to the outbreak was lucky to have company during her social distancing session as 25-year-old boy Allah Malik Williams was seen at her side. I didn't decode his name, but I'm just thinking now about, she's 61. She's got a 25-year-old boy there. Again, alphabetic order. She's The tour, the album 61, alphabetic order and rules of numerology is 25. Again, these are the initial 2 ciphers that I taught from the very beginning. So once upon a time, I would have only known those, and I would have been like, look at that. Look at this article, 6125. Again, you guys, you can't make this stuff up, but you can document it every day. And just for kicks, let me spell his name right. Allah Malik. He's got the 68 in there like Wuhan. Let's see. Allah Malik and then Williams. Let's just see what it is. 67 like Wuhan. 113 again, like the date the date of the second show being canceled. I mean, that's just what I mean, you guys. A lot of times I'm lazy in my decodes because I'm already showing it enough. And like I say, you just apply the knowledge. You're just going to prove the points I'm making further and further. So I can go back and plug that in the notes. It's worth mentioning. But again, it just makes the point I was already making. I got to check, too, on City of Lights, since she's referring to it as the City of Lights. I'm not sure what that equals either. City of Lights. Well, I see why they go with the 63. Check out Paris. That's always a big number in Paris. Paris is 63. Paris, France has the 56 like Corona. Actually, 56 and 70, just like coronavirus. 56 and 70. She's in Paris, France. She's typing on her Corona typewriter. I mean, come on. The 187, you know what that is, right? Ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry 187, and so on. So, yeah, there's all sorts of gems in here. She's writing on her Coronatic. Madame X did not die in Paris. Do we just want to get extra thorough with it? Should we write out? Let's see what they have there. Madame X did not die in Paris. And she has a typo because she has not and die running into each other, but it's not going to make a difference. Let's see. Madame X did not die in Paris. Well, the 138 stands out because Donald Trump's 138, Federal's 138. Her album came out on Donald Trump's birthday. The 114's interesting. President of the United States is 114. Remember, she was one of the biggest protesters of Trump. So there's something about, that also means that from Trump's birthday to the first case in the U.S. was his 222nd day of his age. Again, the Wuhan coronavirus. So something about that stands out. The 390 stands out because this article that we're reading from is from March 9th, the date that can be written 39, Masonry's 39. The 231's interesting because that's the 21st triangular number. And remember, event 201, they made the O. Instead of an O, they used the shape of the earth, a globe. Some people will say that's not the shape of the earth. I don't want to debate about that. That's not the point. I'm just saying that they used a globe, okay, for the O. But, Agenda 21, Event 201. Again, they're creating fear, right? Fear is 21 in the most pure cipher. All right, so here's another. This is another shot of her on a different Corona typewriter talking about Madame X. Madame X is a secret agent traveling around the world, changing identities, fighting for freedom, bringing light to dark places. She is a cha-cha instructor, a professor. I'm trying to read this. A head of state, a housekeeper, an equestrian, a prisoner, a student. I'm sure there's a lot more to think about here. But again, Tom Hanks just put out this Instagram post after being diagnosed on March 11th. He put this out a few days later. He also went with a Corona typewriter. And again, he referenced losing to his wife in gin rummy by 200 just fine. And again, in the center of his chest, he has the Eye of Providence, which is, associated with Masonic symbolism, Illuminati symbolism. His father played the part in the Da Vinci Code, where he recognizes symbolism and traces the Illuminati. Coming back up here, just to make a point, We talked about how from the album to January 21st was a span of 222 days. If you don't count the span, it's 221 days later. And that's the exact same thing we talked about with Chet Hanks in his Instagram post. It was 221 days after his birthday, or his 222nd day of his age. And again, the Bavarian Illuminati is 221. That one eye symbolism, that Masonic Illuminati symbolism. You got Madonna wearing the eye patch with the X. You got the sun with the one eye in the tattoo in the center of his chest. You got the matching typewriters. You got riddles. You got coronavirus riddles. You got Jim Carrey and Batman playing the Riddler, showing people Gematria. You got him in the movie The Number 23, introducing Gematria. People see this stuff in the movies and they say, oh, that's just in the movies. People not realizing that what they're putting in the movies is more real, more truthful than our actual news. It's all programming. Okay, so again, we hit Event 201. We've been covering it nonstop. We were just down in Seattle last weekend. Last week on this day, we were pounding the pavement in Seattle at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, educating people about Event 201. We put a buzz through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation building about this last week. We got Event 201 to somewhat trend on social media over the weekend. While we were doing this last Friday, it was the day that Bill Gates announced he was stepping down from the board position at Microsoft and Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's thing, to focus more on the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It was strange that happened while we were protesting, but that was just a week ago, and there has to be more activities like that, more pounding the pavement to get the word out to normal folks, people who don't search for truth on the internet, people who deserve to have this information even if they want to reject it. So again, you guys, for all of you out there who are sitting on the fence about donating to this campaign, again, days are passing. And there are days where if we had more resources, we could be doing things way bigger. Again, I've been telling you about that building we could secure. Yesterday I got a phone call. She told me I got to have an offer in by next Friday, March 27th, or she has to give it up to somebody else. Right now we don't have the resources to do it, so we have a week. It's on you guys out there who are listening. If you want to support this, pledge that $1 a month on Patreon. We hit the goal. I'll go out and get the building. We'll go start working towards hiring people, getting people who are experts with technology, memes, more ways to get traction, more ways to collaborate, make the message bigger. If you guys aren't down for the cause, maybe you guys should let me know what you would be willing to support. Maybe you're not sending $1 because you don't like the ideas I'm putting out there. If you got a better idea, let me know. Had a gentleman call up this morning. He said, what he wants to do is get me speaking in front of people, 100-plate dinners, get people with some money and influence, and figure out a way for me to speak in front of them. I mean, that sounds great to me, but I don't know how to pull that off. So people got ideas, but you got to be able to achieve them. Anyway, The Eyes of Darkness. We've talked a lot about this novel with Dean Koontz. I did my first video on it February 13, 2020. I just learned something new about this novel that I didn't realize the whole time. Speaking of one-eye symbolism, there's another one, right? The Eyes of Darkness with one eye on the cover. I noticed the cover's purple too, because purple has that gematria of 74, like how Dean Koontz is 74 years old right now, and like how Event 201 began on October 18th, the day leaving 74 days left in the year. And of course, the Military World Games began in Wuhan that same day, and Masonic is 74, and Occult 74, and Gematria is 74, and English is 74. Anyway, the other thing about this cover that needs to be said is the author name that they used. This was the ghost author name for Dean Koontz, Lee Nichols. And check this out. Lee Nichols equals 121 and 67. This is the book with the Wuhan 400 virus. Wuhan 467. The 121's huge because that's the number that's encoded everywhere. We've been talking about 121 nonstop since January 21st. In recent days, Sirius XM made channel 121 the coronavirus channel. And if you have Sirius XM, anyone can verify this. You don't even need Sirius XM. You can just go to their website. Channel 121 made the coronavirus channel. And remember, January 21st, 121, the first case in the U.S. And our base ciphers, coronavirus outbreaks 121. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation's 121. Johns Hopkins University is 121. Remember, these are the co-sponsors of Event 201. World Health Organization's 121. Tom Hanks of Sleepless in Seattle was diagnosed March 11th, a span of 121 days from his upcoming July 9th birthday. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, headquartered in Seattle, which is King County. Corona means crown, king. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is directly across the street from the Space Needle, the Big Needle. Bill Gates, Mr. Vaccine, Mr. Computers. Computers, viruses, vaccines, riddles, mockery, insults to our intelligence. Somehow intelligent people don't see it. At least not yet. And for one more thing that's been brought to my attention, and then I got to hit the road because I have a dentist appointment today, honestly. And sadly, after my dentist appointment, I'm going to pound the pavement here in Yakima, Washington. Me and my boy King Henry, who was with me last Friday, we're going to swing by parks in the Yakima area, see if people are out and about, and talk to them about Event 201. See what they think. So I might have some more on-the-ground footage from a much smaller town in Washington. We were going to go to Seattle today. Then I remembered I had a dentist appointment, which I could have canceled, but with all the lockdown stuff, we didn't want to get stuck, in Seattle. My sweet lady would kill me. King Henry has a family, so anyhow. One last thing here before we wrap it up. Have you heard about Crimson Contagion? This was a federal simulation of a like 138. Federal equals 138. Donald Trump 138. This was a federal simulation from 19 federal agencies in 2019. And the New York Times let us know about it on the 19th of March. It's a lot of 19, isn't it? Remember, the word chaos is 19. The Masonic agenda is order out of chaos. Wuhan coronavirus equals order out of chaos. So again, just to hit all those 19s. This drill used 19 federal agencies in 2019. It was a similar drill to what we're now experiencing with COVID-19, and they give us the news on the 19th of March. And people think numbers are just coming together coincidentally. The name of the drill, Crimson Contagion, CC, like CC33. Remember, words like federal have gematria of 33 and 39. There's that 138 as well. Masonry's got that 33 and 39. Secrecy. Anyhow, Crimson Contagion equals 243 like Central Intelligence Agency, and right now the United States of America is 243 years old. Again, the CIA is about mind control. Mind control. Remember, mind control, toilet paper. The exact same in all four base ciphers. The exact same in all four. The nation's federal capital, Washington, D.C., the Masonic city. Washington, D.C., the exact same as mind control in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. And that most pure cipher, 56, toilet paper, 56. And, I just thought about, I didn't mean to write toilet paper, sorry guys. Coronavirus, that most pure cipher, coronavirus is 56. So the most pure cipher, coronavirus, toilet paper, Washington, D.C., mind control, federal agenda. Remember, all those, or the number 56 in numerology is 5 plus 6, which is 11. 11's the master number, master plan, master agendas. The movie Contagion from 2011. This is called Crimson Contagion. If you haven't seen Contagion, it's about a federal conspiracy. In a way, that's part of the plot. The end of that film, it shows a bat eating food. It drops the piece of food into an area where pigs are feeding. A pig eats it. A pig gets the illness, and then it spreads to humans. They show all that in the movie, just like what they're saying happened with Wuhan. But I forgot what I was going to say. All right, moving on. I'm sure I've said it before. Oh, the dates of this event, August 13th through 16th. So we covered the 13/8 start date. From that date to the first case being found in the U.S. was 23 weeks later. Wuhan's 23. Seen that pattern? The day it ended, August 16th, that's the 228th day of the year. Remember, United States of America, just using the alphabetic order, is 228. Just a little side note, the only born American with a federal holiday is Martin Luther King Jr., 228. In Sumerian Gematria, death is 228, but anyhow, the drill began on the 228th day of the year, the day leaving 137 days remaining. And I know we were just looking at that number. Government, authority, Washington, D.C., mind control, they're all 137. 137 is the 33rd prime number. Masonry, federal secrecy order, they're all 33 like Corona. They called this Crimson Contagion, CC. C is the third letter. CC 33, same numbers popping up all over. What's this federal doctor's name again? Is it Fauci? Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, Dr. Anthony Fauci, however you say it. Look at his name, Anthony Fauci, 56 like coronavirus. Gavin Newsom says 56% of people will have coronavirus in 8 weeks in California, so he's locking it down. Look at this guy's name. His name is the exact same as Washington, D.C., and he's the federal doctor, always on TV in D.C. right now. Again, you guys, mind control. That's what government means. Govern the mind. Control the mind. How are they doing it? They're doing it with ancient knowledge. Gematria is an ancient practice. Comes from Kabbalah. Again, Kabbalah says God created the world with letters, numbers, and words. By the way, in Hebrew, Kabbalah equals 137. And there's a book written by the Mason Albert Pike, Morals and Dogma. Gotta spell it right. Morals and Dogma, 137:56. There's that again. In Morals and Dogma, he talks about how Masonry owes all things to Kabbalah. And again, in Hebrew, Kabbalah is 137. This statue of Morals and Dogma in Albert Pike is in Washington, D.C. It's got a nice little number riddled to it as well. It's in my book. But, again, you guys, ancient knowledge. So Kabbalah, why they use letters, numbers, and words. Then you have to look at something like Hermeticism to understand the greater significance. Hermeticism says everything has a vibration, every letter, every number, every sound, every color, every smell, everything. Everything has a vibration, and if you know how to master the vibrations of these things, you can control people. Like a bunch of people going out and buying out all the toilet paper. And what else I noticed when I went to the store is the entire aisle of paper products, from paper towels to toilet paper to paper plates to paper cups. Everything was sold out at the local grocery store. I was like, wow, all the paper stuff went. Thought it was just toilet paper. And then I realized, I was like, oh my God, paper is 56 too. And I think there's some sick joke because it's all about money, right? You know, money, in God we trust. Remember, virus is 26, God is 26, chaos is 26, dollars 26, bank is 26, letter is 26. Remember, that's why we got a 26-letter alphabet. God is 26 in Hebrew and in English. These people play God with our lives. They use things that control us, like money, which says in God we trust. They got us going out and buying up all the paper with our paper. They got us acting like fools. And, you know, people like us, we're trying to wake up these sleepers. We're trying to show them what's really up. We're trying to help them end the hysteria. And so many of them don't want to hear it. They want to call us crazy and just hoard more toilet paper. It's like they think they can wipe their ass to feed themselves. So I'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. I will be back later. Again, the way to support this work. A lot of you say, how can I support? How can I get your book? Just one last thing before we finish. If you go to pretty much any of my videos, right? So like any of them, it's the same thing. You go to a video, the top pinned post, it'll be like this, pinned by Gematria Effect News, unless they're blocking out these posts. I hope not. But you'll have all this stuff. The book's here, the Patreon page where I'm asking people to pledge $1 a month. You can join freetofindtruth.com. That's 100% free. I pay the bill on that. It's expensive to run, but it's free for you to use. This is the site if you want to have a safe place to share information without fear of it being deleted or censored. It's a place to unite with other truth seekers, try to make new friends, new truth family, find out who's in your city. Again, you don't have to use your real name if you want to be somewhat anonymous. I encourage people to use the real city or at least state that they're in, just so people can search and be like, okay, who's in who's in Portland, Oregon? That's my hometown, so I'm saying that. But let me see who's on this site from Portland, Oregon. And you can message that person, and be like, hey, what's up, man? And maybe you guys become friends, and maybe you eventually go out and pound the pavement together like we did last Friday and Sunday in Seattle. A bunch of us who've never met each other before, we joined forces, and I think we had an impact. Again, Event 201 went somewhat viral on social media over the weekend. Not sure that would have happened if we didn't pound the pavement over the weekend, getting the word out there about Event 201. Gematria Effect News. Again, that's my blog. That's what I read from when I do these posts. You can get the book here as well. If you go to Gematria Effect News in the top right corner, just click ebook. Spot to get's right there. It's $5. It's an ebook. It's an instant download. You're welcome to print it. It's nice to have it as an ebook because it's 800 pages long. It has a search feature so you can quickly find information you're looking for. But anyway, that's the way to support. Everything's down here. If you want to get a hoodie, there's these steps. There's these steps and ways to pay for the hoodie. Just make sure you follow these directions. Send an email with the size and address to mail the hoodie to at this email, genhoodies@gmail.com. Payments. And if you don't want to do it electronically, I do have a P.O. Box now. Again, it's linked right here. P.O. Box 1967, Yakima, Washington, 98907. If you're sending a package, you have to send it to a different P.O. Box address. Well, it's pretty much the same, but it's 112 South 3rd Street, Yakima, Washington, 98901-9998, P.O. Box 1967. So if it's just a letter, an envelope, just this. But if it's a box of something, it's supposed to be this address. So again, I pin that in every video. I'm supposed to get my hoodie order tomorrow. And assuming they don't have us all locked down, I will send out those hoodies Monday. That's the plan. All the people who've already ordered, thank you very much. Again, there's not much of a profit margin in selling these hoodies after shipping. But a lot of you guys wanted a hoodie, and I figure if you want one, you'll be out wearing essentially a billboard for this information, so that'll help spread the word. So I'm grateful for that, and that's the point. We're trying to get this knowledge, this word, Gematria, in front of the eyes of the masses, because almost no one has ever heard of it, and it truly is a very simple practice, a very elementary practice, and probably the most important thing to know if you really are trying to understand what's going on in the world and you see through the lies and are trying to connect the dots. I don't know anything else that connects the dots like this. We'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Wish us well on our little ground pounding campaign this afternoon. And I'll talk to you soon. Till next time.